Hello students, today we start with the chapter Tissues. From the last chapter, that is the fundamental unit of life, we recall that all living organisms are made up of cells. In unicellular organisms, a single cell performs all basic functions like intake of food, respiration, movement, excretion, etc. Whereas in multicellular organisms, each specialized function is taken up by a different group of cells. So, multicellular organisms show division of labor. Cells specializing in one function are often grouped together in the body. This group of cells having common origin and similar or related structure which work together to perform a common function is called tissue. Now the question is, are plants and animals made of same type of tissues? So as you know, both plants and animals have similar life processes. However, they do not have similar types of tissues. Why? Let's discuss. First we start with the mobility. As you all know, plants are stationary, or we can say they are fixed. Most of the tissues they have are supportive, which provides them with structural strength. Most of their tissues are dead, which provides more mechanical strength and require less maintenance energy. On the other hand, animals are mobile. Most of their tissues are living and therefore require more energy for their maintenance. Another difference between animals and plants is in the pattern of their growth. The growth in plants is limited to certain regions, while this is not so in animals. There are some tissues in plants that divide throughout their life. So, based on the dividing capacity of the tissues, various plant tissues can be classified as meristematic and permanent tissues, whereas cell growth in animals is more uniform. So, in animals, there is no such demarcation of dividing and non-dividing region in animals. Next come structural organization. In having organ and organ systems, structural organization of animals is far more specialized and localized as compared to the plants. It is with reference to these complex animals and plant bodies that we will now talk about the concept of tissues in detail. So let's start with the plant tissue. Plant tissues, as you can see in this flow chart, plant tissues, they are of two types, that is meristemic tissue and permanent tissue. Permanent plant tissue have two subtypes, that is simple permanent and complex permanent. And further it is divided into parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma, and complex permanent as xylem and phloem. Whereas meristematic tissue, it is apical, intercalary and lateral. So first of all we start with the meristematic tissue. The growth of plants occur only in certain specific regions. Now the question is why? Because the dividing tissue, also known as meristematic tissue, located at these points only. Depending on the region where they are present, meristematic tissues are further classified as apical, lateral and intercalary. So as you can see in the diagram, apical meristem is present at the growing tip of the stems and roots, and it increases the length of the stem and the root. The girth, or we can say the thickness of the stem or root, increases due to the lateral meristem, whereas intercalary meristem is the meristem at the base of the leaves or internodes. So this is all about the meristematic tissue. Now we come to the permanent tissue. They are the plant tissues where the cells have lost the ability to divide and have assumed a permanent shape, size and function. This process of taking up a definite shape, size and a function is called differentiation. Now permanent tissues, there are two types, that is simple permanent tissue and complex permanent tissue. So first of all, let's discuss about the simple permanent tissue. They are those permanent tissues in which the permanent cells are similar in structure, origin and function. Simple permanent tissue are of three types, that is parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. So now we will talk about parenchyma. It consists of relatively unspecialized cells with thin cell walls. They are live cells and have large intercellular spaces. As you can see in this diagram, they have thin cell wall and there are the intercellular spaces in between the cells. Now we come to the functions of the parenchyma. First is it provides support to the plant. Second one is it stores food. Then in some situations it also contains chlorophyll and performs photosynthesis, and in that case it is known as Sclerenchyma. In aquatic plants, large air cavities are present in parenchyma to give buoyancy to the plants, to help them float, and such a parenchyma is known as the Sclerenchyma. Now next type is collenchyma. It is a simple permanent tissue which provides flexibility to soft aerial parts, that is leaves, young stems, so that they can bend without breaking. It also provides mechanical support to the plants. Then the cells of this tissue are living, elongated and irregularly thickened at the corners, and there is very little intercellular space. So as you can see in this figure, they have elongated and irregularly thickened cell walls, and there is very little intercellular space. So this is all about the collenchyma. Now yet another type of permanent tissue is the sclerenchyma. It is a tissue which makes the plant hard and stiff. For example, you have seen the husk of a coconut. It is made up of sclerenchymatous tissue. The cells of this tissue are dead. Then the cells are long and narrow, as the walls are thickened due to the lignin. Now what is lignin? It is a chemical substance which acts as cement and hardens them. Often these walls are so thick that there is no internal space inside the cell. So as you can see in the picture, both of these are the types of sclerenchyma. This is a fiber and this is one is the sclerid. So dear students, this is all about today's lecture. We will continue with the chapter in the next class. Till then, goodbye.